Dale.
Okay, tell us, how did it go in Chile for all the shows that you did?
Chile has been great. We also did a date in Argentina, which was pretty damn good too. Like Argentina is really crazy, but Chile's another notch up. You know, we did already I think 5 shows. It's been great. Chile's been it's new territory for us, so it's a whole new thing. But we're loving it, and we're gonna come back next year. We've already decided that, and all the promoters that we've talked to want us to come back next year, so we'll be back.
Okay, which one was, what was the best show that you had in Chile?
I think
Before
tonight.
this one.
Well, I think tonight's gonna be. But I liked Rancagua. I liked a lot. It's hard saying that though because each show has different things that go on. Like I think the reason I liked Rancagua so much, and also Temuco. Temuco was even crazier because there were like girls throwing themselves on the stage and stage diving and slam pits and stuff like that. So, and we love all that stuff. So the crazier the show, the better for us. But I don't know. I mean, this is Santiago's kind of like the capital. Like I think it all comes back to Santiago, and I think that's why we're doing the last show here because it's like the grand finale of the whole tour. But I liked it a lot. I mean, it's hard to totally pinpoint one city, but I got a feeling tonight's going to be explosive.
Now, what are the plans for the band, like for the next couple of years?
Well, we're going to be touring and releasing records. We've got a new record coming out called El Rostro de la Muerte, which will be out probably next month.
The Face of Death?
Yeah, The Face of Death. It's a Spanish title. It's basically a dedication to all of our fans that speaks Espanol around the world because we have so many of them. So we wanted to do something special. And it's a really good record, 14 tracks. I think it's the best work we've done. I think the guitar playing on it's great between Lance and Glenn. They wrote a bunch of great heavy shit, and Steve's bass playing is really awesome. I'll tell you, I gotta tell you the lineup anyways. Jorge Acabellas on drums, Lance Harrison on guitars, Glenn Rogers on lead guitars, and also Steve Harrison, Lance's brother, on bass. And they did a great job on this record. It made it easy for me as a singer because the material was strong. So we've got that coming out next month. We'll probably be filming our first video for the album. And then I think after that it'll be majorly just letting the record get out around the world because it's got to basically get into the market, which means it's going to be on iTunes. It's also going to be CD and it's going to be vinyl. It's going to be a picture disc, which will be for all the collectors. It's going to be our biggest record yet, I know it. And the thing that helps it is we're going to be touring next year, 2010, and we'll be back through South America on a bigger tour, which will take us to Chile, Argentina, Brazil. So a lot of big things for Hirax in the future. But we worked for it. You know, we did this from the underground up. We built it ourselves. This band self-financed. Everybody in the band contributes, and it's a fucking great thing that we have. And we feel honored to be able to come and play in these countries like Chile because the people love heavy metal so much. So for us, it's fucking like being in heaven.
You know, the other day I was listening to Radiant Violence again, now from a different perspective.
Yeah,
years ago.
definitely.
And I noticed that so no more than 2.5 minutes. Not too many solos. Lots of punk and hardcore influences. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we were heavily influenced by some of that. Because being from Los Angeles, there were a lot, and also the Bay Area, there were a lot of crossover bands as well, and hardcore between like bands like DRI and Black Flag, and you know Minor Threat and the Misfits. So that's kind of where those influences come from. But we mixed it in there just because we wanted to be, you know, do something a little different. At the time, there were a lot of bands that were doing more of the black metal thing, and we love all that stuff too. But you know, we just figured we grew up on heavy metal, everything from Deep Purple to, you know, Led Zeppelin to Black Sabbath to Thin Lizzy, you know. And then when bands like Motorhead and Venom came along, we kind of took what they did and put another spin on it, put some more speed in there, and did it our own way. And that's pretty much how Hirax evolved. Even though I think now we are more advanced as a band because the songwriting's gotten better and technically the guitar playing's way better. I mean, I'm proud of the early records. I don't think any guy that started out doing metal shouldn't be proud of what they did because that's the beginnings of your start of your career and it's your roots. Those are still our roots, but we've taken it tenfold to another level. And that's what I think the new album represents. You know, we're still going to be remembered for the early stuff, but there's a future to Hirax, and that's kind of what we're taking around the world, showing people that you can still be old school, but you can take that old school and take it into a whole new world. That's what we're doing.
Do you ever think it would come up to this? I mean, you ever think that 25 years, like from when you were 25 years ago?
Yeah. I didn't think it would be like
still
this.
be around?
No, for one, I didn't think I'd still be doing it because I was young when we started. We were crazy kids that just wanted to have fun. I didn't know it was going to turn into business, you know, but it's cool because now the band's starting to grow and we're branching out. But we still got a lot of work to do. You know, we're one of those bands that feels like, you know, we're definitely hitting a new level, but we want to get bigger. And you have to keep working hard with people that come in that can help you take your band to a new level. You know, like we've had great guys work with us on production and people like that are helping the band get out there to other places. Like, who would have ever thought we would have done 6 or 7 shows in Chile alone? Most bands don't do that. But we're here to work, and we're a people's band, as I think you guys know that now after meeting us and hanging out with us. It's the real deal.
Now, one final question. What do you think about the new breed of thrash bands that are coming out, like Municipal Waste, stuff like that?
Well, I've told people this many times. I think it's great and all, but to me, if they really are going to, you know, where I'll have more respect for that whole new wave of thrash metal is if they're around 10 or 15, 20 years from now. Because that shows longevity, that shows greatness. Like when you look back at all the great bands, they had a history. You know, whether it's Iron Maiden, whether it's even Metallica, there's been years of beating their heads against the wall. Like even
we just have to wait.
Well, yeah, I kind of have to wait and see what happens. Like, don't get me wrong, I think what they're doing is great. You know, there's a lot of energy there. They're really young. That's what happens when you're young. You know, you're just gonna come out with some crazy cool stuff, which that's awesome. But if they can do it for 10 years or 15 years, then I'll have a lot. I mean, I'll have total respect for it. I'm not saying I don't have respect, but I'm just saying, to me, I have more respect for bands like AC/DC, Motorhead, bands that kept going through all the shit. You know, even Iron Maiden, look at what they've been able to do over the years. So if you put in that kind of a career, fucking hell yeah, you know. But I think it's great. What I think is great about the new bands is that they're turning a bunch of the new kids on to thrash metal in general. So all those kids that might be getting into the new stuff, they're also going back and checking out the old stuff. They're checking out bands like, you know, Possessed or Hirax or, you know, fucking, I mean, the list goes on and on. There's even like doom bands like fucking Trouble and Candlemass, and, you know, Creator, Destruction, all the thrash metal bands from Germany, Tankard. So if those kids, you know, do their research, they're gonna learn about a lot of great metal, you know. But so that's, yeah, I think it's great. The new thrash metal thing is cool because it's turning people on to some new stuff. But there's still a lot of great old school bands around too, still kicking ass, you know. So there's something to be said about longevity.
Any final words?
Chile kicks ass. Hirax will be back in 2010. Get ready to bang your fucking heads.